Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Great to be with you on this beautiful morning here in Houston. So many familiar faces, and I love that we get many of the same people coming to the conference every year. We have many clients who don't come to the conference. That's perfectly fine. But it's great to have our regular attendees back and also our attendees on Zoom. Are we good on Zoom? Is everything coming through okay? I usually end by thanking everybody who helps to put this together, but I want to start with it today. It's a lot of work, and I want to, of course, note Catherine first, this is our 11th time to do this, and it does get easier, right, Catherine? But that doesn't mean that it's easy, right? Easier doesn't mean easy. And I also want to note Daisy, who assisted Catherine this year, last year too, but this year, Daisy, thank you so much for all of your assistance. And then Chris O'Malley also, thank you so much, Chris, on all the audiovisual stuff, because that's not easy either. Everything else is easy in comparison to getting it all set up. And welcome to my wife, Hannah, who has brought my throat lozenges. I'm not shaking hands today for your good, but I tested negative for COVID. I do not have COVID, so nobody has to fear that. Oh. Okay, today's agenda, I'm going to make some welcome remarks and probably just going to segue straight into this talk, which I'm calling Stable Financial Management in an Unstable World. JC's going to join me for the slides that we're going to present to you. And then we're really happy to have Sharona Jacobs with us. Sharona's with LiveWell Care Management. What is a care manager? And families are often facing elder care periods of life. And Sharona, thank you for being here today. You're going to help us understand this role of a care manager and whether there's any need for people to look into that. We will have a lunch break. We'll make our usual presentation of giving you updates of what's going on new with our company. A lot of that technology or services, and we do have some new things to show you and present to you that I'm excited to tell you about. And then we're going to be joined later in the day by Jordan Jackson, who is one of their top strategists, macro strategists. He watches the Federal Reserve and interest rates, and Jordan's really great. He has something this morning, so he's going to be presenting that later today. And so in my presentation, I'm not going to talk about bonds, and I'm not going to talk about interest rates. It's not that I wouldn't love to talk about bonds and interest rates, but I'm worried if I say much about bonds and interest rates, I'm going to look really bad just about a couple of hours later when Jordan comes and gives you the straight dope on bonds and on interest rates, which of course, like everything, is in the news these days, and what the Federal Reserve will do and what the interest rate environment will look like. I'll talk a little bit about interest rates, but I'm going to try to leave all that for Jordan. And then we're going to wrap at 2 p.m. Okay. Thank you all for those of you who took our poll. I'm going to start with that today. Which of the following best describes your level of confidence in U.S. democratic institutions right now? One person believes that they are strong, guardrails are working. 6 are uneasy, signs of erosion are present. And an overwhelming number of you, 25 out of, 31 or 32? Deeply concerned. We are nearing an authoritarian risk. 0 said, I don't have enough to say. The number speaks for itself. And a big question is, can we enjoy as a country the peace and the prosperity that we have if we reach a place of authoritarianism? This is a big major question. Other countries have not succeeded so much at it? Which economic risk currently concerns you the most? 5 are concerned most about inflation, 21 about politics, echoing the previous slide, the believing that the major risk is political, and 6, market concentration. We'll be talking about market concentration, the rise of a handful or 2 handfuls of companies that have become so valuable that they dominate the overall stock market, which introduces risk. Nobody concerned about interest rates. Amazing. Usually an item that is at the top of the list of people's concerns. Not at all a concern. Are you currently more worried about missing out on market gains? 2 people. Losing money or preserving capital? The largest single group are most concerned about that. And we're hearing a lot of that. And so I'm going to introduce today a phrase. How many of you know the phrase, the market climbs a wall of worry? Has anyone ever heard that phrase? The stock market climbs a wall of worry. It's a phrase that dates back to the 1950s. It's not new. And it's an observation that in bull markets, very often the bull markets are accompanied by large doses of pessimism, concern, and worry. But that there are other forces at work that are more determinative more determinative of prices. And we're in that period. We have a period where this stock market has been climbing a wall of worry, and we can see that wall represented here. People concerned about losing money, preserving capital in the face of a bull market. 8 people, both equally concerned about both, perfectly fine. Concerned about missing out on further gains, concerned about losing money. And 10 people, very sizable number, answered, not worried about either, I'm staying calm and long term, which I always like to hear. Do you believe the U.S. will enter a recession within the next 12 months? 9 say yes. 5 say no. 18 not sure. A recession is defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, where the gross domestic product falls. We'll talk a little bit about recession. Do you believe your portfolio is globally diversified enough? 23 say yes. I'm glad to hear that, because we've worked very hard to make sure that's the case, and there have been major benefits from that this year. Major. One person says no. Whoever that is, please see me later. And we'll see what we can do, JC, all right? And 8 say not sure what enough means. Not sure what enough means. What's enough? What's enough? Anybody have any thoughts on what's enough global diversification? Are you comfortable with AI playing a meaningful role in your financial planning experience? Nobody says absolutely. 18 of you say yes, as long as we do the leadership on that. 11 are unsure, fair enough. 3 people say no. Not comfortable with AI playing a meaningful role in your financial planning experience. I didn't say dominant role. I didn't say the sole role. I just said a meaningful role. Well, AI is already playing a role and we'll talk about some of that today. Our firm believes in AI. We're using AI. We have to. It's a very, very important tool. Catherine really liked this question. If you could buy more of just one thing in your life, what would it be? 13, say more time. I'd like to buy more time. 6, say I'd like to buy more security. 3 would like to buy more impact. 1 would like to buy more freedom. And 9 of you would like to buy more clarity. Interestingly, nobody picked legacy, meaning money that you leave to your charitable goals or to your heirs. Generally, those are the two components of legacy. We asked a question, tell us about your experience with AI. Tell us about a meaningful use you had with AI. And then we used AI to summarize your answers. Rather than going through 30 separate answers and trying to tabulate it, we simply handed your answers to the AI and said, tell us about the answers. Isn't that amazing? Right? I mean, it's really where things are at. We ask you a question about AI, and then we use AI to summarize it. Most common use, travel planning. By using AI for travel planning? Yeah. Other uses, creative and professional help, resumes, job letters, bios, songwriting. Ned, are you doing songwriting? Not yet. Not yet. Pretty soon, though. Light experimentation, wine pairing, art and antique research, historical queries. People gingerly using it for that sort of purpose. And non-users are still common. Some haven't tried AI or only encounter it passively. I think we have quite a number of people who have not. In our firm, we've had a pioneer who got us using AI. I don't know if we were early, but Catherine got us on the stick to understand it. You were using it for programming, to help assist on programming, to help assist on quite a number of things, and you became a convert, big time, right? Yes. And I began to see we can't fall behind here. Our meeting notes with you are now being taken by AI. Before that, I would sit there and I'd try to keep up, and I couldn't fully engage and listen to what you were telling me. And my handwriting was terrible, and Casey had to transcribe it. And so one of the early uses of AI for financial advisors is to capture our meeting notes. And in capturing meeting notes, we can capture tasks that we need to do for you. And so we miss a lot less. So that's an example of where we're using it. And there are products now made for financial advisors to capture our meeting notes. Just one example. We're using it for other things as well. And then sentiments that people have about AI. Cautious and skeptical. Trust limited due to disclaimers and loss of personal voice. Generally positive among users, especially for travel. Practical and satisfying. But we're in the early days of this AI revolution. It's early. The efforts in AI began about 20 years ago with like a handful of really, really heavy-duty scientists, really incredibly talented, are really our brightest people studying neuroscience and studying brains and studying computer science. And what they've done is quite remarkable to be able to capture the contents of the global internet and synthesize it, so that when we ask it a question, it's doing its best to take that information and give us some simple answers.